In today's heated climate of social media, the sword of social justice perpetually dangles by the most fragile of threads. Often we find ourselves tiptoeing around certain narratives, particularly those involving allegations of sexual assault. Enter Trevor Bauer, the Major League Baseball pitcher many love to hate. Known for his bravado, contentious relationships with authority, and let's not forget, a penchant for controversial pitching practices. Bauer's world spiraled into a nightmare when Lindsey accused him of assault in scenarios so lurid they'd make Marquis de Sade wince. And in the blink of an eye, Bauer, once at the top of the league, saw his career crumble to dust. Despite his ace status, he found himself a pariah, unceremoniously booted by the Dodgers and given the cold shoulder by, well, everyone. Why? Because in the court of public opinion, the gavel comes down hard and fast, often skimming the facts and undermining due process. But here's where it gets sticky. Amidst the legal skirmishes, a different narrative began to surface. Videos of a seemingly complicit Hill, texts plotting her next victim, and casual chats about pilfering from Bauer's $50 million treasure chest. It paints a picture, doesn't it? But who wants to risk cancel culture by suggesting that Hill's motives might have been less sleeping with the enemy and more Gone Girl? We're navigating a minefield here, folks. On one side, you have genuine victims of assault whose experiences should never be invalidated, and on the other hand, you risk the mob mentality of a certain social justice warrior crowd that advocates belief without question, discarding any need for something our justice system is founded on: evidence. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do a video on it, but today I'm going to do it. Today we're going to unpack this whole Trevor Bauer sexual assault scandal. We're going to look at what's happened here based on what we know, and perhaps, just perhaps, we can learn something from it. Let's dive in. So let's start off with who is Trevor Bauer. For those of you who don't follow baseball, Trevor Bauer is a professional baseball pitcher who's played in the MLB for teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Cleveland Guardians, the Cincinnati Reds, and most recently, the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's also the winner of the 2020 National League Cy Young Award, which is an award that's given to the best pitcher in each league. His career, however, took a bit of a turn and his reputation was tarnished 2 years ago in a series of sexual assault allegations made by a woman named Lindsey, who claimed that Bauer beat and choked her during 2 sexual encounters in 2021. Bauer has since spent the last year playing for the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars of the Nippon Professional Baseball League in Japan.
As he heads back into the dugout in his first Dodger-Giant rivalry.
So let's get into this woman, Lindsey. She is in her mid-20s and she's from San Diego, California. Based on the legal filings we could read, she seemed to meet Bauer through social media and agreed to have a consensual rough sex relationship with him after discussing her sexual preferences. She alleges that Bauer went beyond what they agreed upon and inflicted serious injuries on her, such as bruises, scratches, bleeding, and even loss of consciousness. She filed a petition for a temporary restraining order against Bauer in June of 2021, which was later denied by a judge. Now, this is something strange because restraining orders are typically processed pretty quickly and easily. The judge found her testimony to be materially misleading and didn't think Lindsey feared for her safety. Lindsey also reported the incidents to the Pasadena Police Department, which launched a criminal investigation into Bauer. That investigation then moved on to the LA County District Attorney's Office, who decided not to move forward with charges related to these allegations.
We are grateful to the Los Angeles Superior Court for denying the request for a permanent restraining order.
However, as you can imagine, these allegations had a significant impact on Bauer's career. MLB started by placing him on administrative leave. They then did their own investigation based on the joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy. But unlike the judge who denied the restraining order or the LA County District Attorney's Office, MLB saw things very differently. They are a private organization and they can basically do whatever they want in terms of sanctioning players. And then on April 29th, 2022, MLB announced that Bauer was suspended for 324 games. This was the result of their investigation. They later reduced that number to 194 games after Bauer appealed the decision. Now, Bauer also had his merchandise removed from the Dodgers stores, and the Dodgers went so far as to cancel the Trevor Bauer bobblehead night. He didn't pitch for the rest of the 2021 season, and he missed the opportunity to defend both his Cy Young Award and the Dodgers World Series title. So Bauer consistently denied these allegations and maintained that all his sexual interactions with Hill were consensual. He also claimed that Hill was lying and trying to ruin his career as part of a calculated plot. In his 40-page counter-complaint, Bauer denies all the allegations made by Hill in her complaint and asserts that Bauer and Hill had a consensual rough sex relationship that was initiated and encouraged by Hill. He also provides evidence that shows Hill's interest in having rough sex, her satisfaction after their encounters, and her attempts to contact Bauer after he stopped responding to her. And then the lawsuit went into discovery. They settled for $0. And as part of that settlement, Trevor asked to go public with what he found in discovery and made a YouTube video about it.
Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsey Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name.
But the most damning of the clips was a video she took the morning after allegedly having been assaulted in the face. Now, Hill denied these claims in a bizarre interview with Sarah Gonzalez from Blaze TV. Here we can see her giving an explanation as to why there were no bruises on her face in that video that surfaced of her smiling next to Trevor.
It was a matter of being in the correct lighting, the spacing to take the right thing. And another difference is, iPhone camera versus a Snapchat recording and things.
Now that defense, quite frankly, makes no sense. But for the most part, despite some contradictions and weak arguments, Lindsey comes across as well-spoken and confident. She stands in there and defends herself like a pro. Now, interestingly, she puts the blame on Trevor for agreeing to settle. And the part that I find kind of odd is that Lindsey seems to imply that the most damaging evidence in this entire case could have been the previous women who made accusations against Trevor Bauer of assault, giving testimony in court against Trevor. Something that we don't know would have even happened, and secondly, isn't really related to the case at hand.
Including the other accusers and all of those things.
I don't want to talk about the other accusers because I'm here to focus on you. If they want to talk, I'd love to talk.
Now, this whole thing got really messy, and nothing gets more traction on social media than cancel culture. We got writers looking for clicks and lawyers looking for attention. But at least for Bauer, he had the legal and financial muscle to go out there and defend himself. He attempted to name Hill's attorney as a co-defendant in the case for making false claims to the media. He also took on Deadspin, alleging that they portrayed Hill as having a fractured skull, which was contradicted by a medical report where the CT scan revealed no signs of an acute fracture. Both the case against Hill's attorney and the case against Deadspin were dismissed. However, there's a third case here where Bauer went after The Athletic and its former writer Molly Knight for a similar reason involving discussing the fractured skull. But unlike the Deadspin case, the judge is going to allow this one to move forward. So let's get to the recent news. On October 2nd, 2023, Bauer and Hill settled all their outstanding litigation and withdrew their respective claims with prejudice. This means that they cannot sue each other again over the same issue. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed, but Bauer's attorneys said that he did not make any payments to Hill or admit any wrongdoing. Now, what's really fascinating about this entire case is that without Lindsey carelessly sending those text messages and videos to friends and family, she probably would have gotten away with this. Now, I can't say for certain what happened here, but if she was this conniving actor who was trying to rip off Trevor, she certainly was sloppy. From the evidence that we can see, it does appear like this was all a plot. She talked about stealing from Trevor, she had Google searched the term setup, deleted messages after her second encounter, discussed making him her next victim, and then there was video evidence discrediting her claims of being beaten in the face. Now, I'll be the first to admit, when I first saw the claims being made against Bauer, I thought he was guilty, but we can only judge issues based on what we see. That's what the court of public opinion is all about. It's the perception we have, based on whatever information and opinions manage to travel in front of us, whether accurate or not. Now, if you are a public person like Trevor Bauer, perhaps you should have better judgment and be careful with those who you let into your life. For example, there was a video that surfaced after this whole thing of Lindsey drunk at a concert. Now, based on what I've seen of her in that interview with The Blaze, days, her text messages with friends, and that video of her drunk at a concert, Lindsey doesn't seem like the kind of person I would want to have a consensual, rough sex relationship with, if that were my thing. Trevor, well, he's no angel either. He has a history of not being well liked by his teammates and has had others accuse him of sexual assault. Now, if rough sex is Trevor's sort of thing, where he gets off on, sexually assaulting women, even if consensual, I have to think it makes him an easy target for women like Lindsey. He probably should be more careful. Now look, I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to give advice here. Maybe he should take his time to get to know the women who he shares these sexual interests with. Maybe he should ask for some references. Or maybe he should just buy a sex doll. This isn't an easy task for him to land safely. It requires a lot of trust from all parties, especially when you're a public figure. What Trevor needs to remember is that when it comes to the game of reputation, sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one reflecting back at you in the mirror. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you could do me a big favor, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So guys, we just recently launched this channel and we noticed that 99.9% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed this video, we need your help in growing this channel. By subscribing, that would help us keep the lights on and make sure that our crews have jobs in these uncertain times. So please hit that subscribe button and we promise to make more quality videos that I'm sure you're going to love.